But like how you said, I look younger. I only started looking like this in the last 5 years when I got even healthier, you know. And that's a whole thing about believing in myself. Like in the pandemic, I had to learn how to do that even more.
Mm.
And it's one of those things that I think people will continue to learn in life. So definitely that, a rage. But then there's a pursuit for peace. Like I feel like I have a peace though, but there's still a pursuit for it. A pursuit for uh global, like for like people in the world to have it. The peace that passes all understanding.
Yeah.
And so there's a peace, like that I have, so that I feel that is a posture, but it's one that I also want, for the world. And then of course, love. I mean, hey, that's where it all started from, right? God is love, but love is also an action. And so, uh, and then I hope honor and integrity. And those last two is for my that when I engage with other people. See, everything
Mhm.
I just said up until the first was really that's the heart for the inside, because that's really all about me. Like
Right.
really, you see. But if I have that in line, then those other two, it's just like you said, I would keep it real, but I would keep it righteous. You wouldn't see me in the club, but if you did, I was performing before I had to leave and go to work the next day, not performing before I had to leave and go to church the next day.
That part.
So and I think that people can, God has blessed people with different talents, so I think that there are those who could do it. At the time I couldn't. I just and not just because of my position in church, it just wouldn't work for me. I couldn't stand in front of a church if I was rocking in the crowd the night before. But if
Okay.
you give me about 5 days in between, yeah, I can. Just like, okay, give me some time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. And, at least give me 48 hours. Meaning Friday night, I'm not gonna tell you I wasn't going out dancing, okay? But Saturday, no. But when I became a minister,
Right.
but when I became an ordained, minister and started preaching and had the church on campus, I never did that because I just cared about so then to answer the other question about the posture, I care about people's spiritual development so much
Yeah.
that I would like restrict myself like for real, for real. I'm like, okay, so if people probably knew, they probably be like, hey, brother, you should have lived a little bit, but I just took it too seriously. I always wanted what came out of me to be, what those students, and then it became their parents, and then it became other people on campus. And I was just like, I did not. Well, it wasn't my plan anyway, but I'm just like I didn't plan this thing to grow like this. So that integrity and the honor part is the external, so that when I'm dealing with people, they feel like, man, that brother got my back. Oh wow, like he take me so seriously. Like, oh my goodness, I'm important. Like, oh, okay, it's like I can never mimic what God actually does, but I just want them when they leave to go, man, God must love me. Hmm.
Yes.
Because this guy just made me feel like I was important. I didn't even know him. So then it's like exactly. So that's that part. So
But
I hope
I
hope I
gotta
answered the question.
I gotta stop you right there and agree with you because I remember, um, I never forget it, man. You reached out to me directly, bro, and you were like, "Delisa, D1 come to NC State, come through." And I was like, "Are you
That's
serious?"
right.
And I was
That's
like,
right.
"What?" Because back then, well, he's still hot now, but I'm saying
He's still
back
hot.
then,
He bigger now. He
D1,
bigger now. Yeah, because he's bigger
D1,
now.
like that was like it. I mean, Lecrae was cool. He's still
Mhm.
okay now, but I mean, like
He's still good. Yeah.
D1, like
Do you know
what?
he still responds to a text from me? All these years later, he'll still actually reply.
Yo,
I'm
can
like,
I
oh,
get him on the
this is
podcast?
wild.
What I got to do? I need him on the podcast, man.
Let
Like
me
y'all,
see.
he can be with you if
Wait a
he's
minute.
more comfortable with you. That's fine. But
It just hit me. I need him on the podcast. You saying it just made Wait a minute.
like, I need him on the
How am I
podcast.
not
I need
taking
him to
advantage
come
of
on the
that? Oh my
podcast.
gosh.
I need like my
I
people.
need to
Like,
ask.
what you mean?
Yeah. Let me reach out. Let me reach out again and ask him
Yeah,
because he'll,
because
it
it can
takes
be
him a
both of you
minute, but
guys. That way he feels
he
comfortable
gets a
because he doesn't
reply.
know me like that. So it can be like both of you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, I'll reach out. I'll reach out and ask him. Sometimes it take him a minute to get back, but he still replies, and I'm just like, wow, like he
He's a
actually
real dude.
still remembers me. I'm just like, okay, so yeah, but yeah, no, you're right about you mentioned the D1.
Yeah, because I when I
That's right.
came, it was so lit. Because I think you were speaking for a little bit, and
Just a
then
little bit that he took
but it
over.
was good. It was good.
Mhm.
And then when you introduced him, I was like, "Oh my god, he was for real." Like, that's
Yeah.
something I can attest about you, Deacon Easley. You follow through, man. Like, you have, like when you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it. And then I remember, like, when you were starting your music, I remember, like, "Oh, yeah, it's gonna take off," because your heart behind it, but then you had the look for it, and that means a lot for us. And then, like, you
I
had,
did?
this tenacity, because you can't
Okay,
just
I ain't
start
know I did.
something and then just drop the ball. Like, when you approach
Mm,
young generation, we are looking
mhm,
for the longevity. Like, are you gonna be consistent? Like, are we gonna get a mixtape? Are we gonna get an EP? Like, are we gonna see you do
mm.
music videos? Like, are you gonna be consistent? Because, like, we look at that, So
Yeah,
I
mhm.
respect you just as a person, but then I really respect you as a minister, and then as an artist. Thank you for being authentic, because some people, they get on here and be like, "Oh, yeah, I rap," and it's like, "Are you sure?" Like, "Are you sure you're not, like, a producer?" Because it's a difference, like, "Are you sure?" Like,
Yeah, you sure?
it's like it's like,
Ouch.
"Are you sure?" But
Wow, that's good, that's
with
good.
you, it's like, "Okay, yeah, he's about that life." Like, "Okay, yeah."
I appreciate that. No, thank you. Wow, that's good.
So, since we're on the
Uh,
topic, what do
mhm.
you feel like the Lord, what, well, either why or what? It could be either or. But what do you feel like, or why do you feel like the purpose of the holy era had to ignite itself out of you? Like, why do you feel like it had to? Like, why? Because some people suppress their gifts. So why do you feel like your gift was not dormant? What or why? How did you ignite out of you?
Well, actually, that's a ooh, oh, man. So, I think that my gift was dormant,
Oh,
because I put it to sleep. Not because God wanted it to be asleep, but because I put it to sleep. That's why I didn't start my music. Really, I didn't start until my late 20s. You see, I've had a desire. I think just like a lot of people, that they have this childlike, desire. I grew up in the era of Tupac. Just to let people know, yes, I
woo,
am
let's
that
go.
I am that old, or I am that age. And so I'm even starting that. And I'm going to pause what I was about to do. I'm going to stop and say, there's no shame in what I do.
Come on,
There's no
come on.
shame in being a 46-year-old MC who looks like he's in his 30s, who and that's not the flex, that's just the truth, but it's because I take care of myself. It's because I've learned over time. And like I'm in Alabama taking care of my parents, and I didn't grow up seeing handicap stickers in cars. And so
Right.
it gets me that I see that. That's part of where that rage comes from. So my gift is I've the gift that God had, just even that, like if you can look into your anger instead of give over to it, you'll find your purpose in it.
Who?
And so the agitation that I felt was, like I said, people not thinking for themselves, the health of our community, Black people in particular, or brown people, or melanated people, or people of color. But I'll just say anybody who's been feel like they've been thrown away or who's been thrown away. So I would say the people that Pac was talking to, the same people that Kendrick are talking to, will probably still be the same people that say maybe TD Jakes was talking to, or maybe like Pastor Jamal Bryant's talking to. So it's still the same people. But I do
Deacon Easley,
choose to.
I don't know about TD Jakes. We gotta pray for him. I don't know.
Okay, I was
I don't know.
wondering.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
I don't
messing with
look
you.
up. No, well, hey, well, I would say this: I don't look up to anyone. And but see, here we go. I think that's part of it, though. You see, it's like I can say their names. I think that they've been effective. I don't follow them, but I
I'm
know that
glad
they've been
because
effective.
it's been some
What shoot.
things.
I mean, I
It's been
couldn't even.
some,
I don't want to demean, Minister Jamal Bryant. I know that he had like a pretty visible divorce. So I think that what we've also seen is that ministers or men of God in particular, are very flawed. But see, the problem is that I think that that's what the external projection of religion does. It forces people
mhm.
to project perfection, and the problem is that no one is going to be like no one is perfect. And it's one of the things I always ask people. I said, who did Jesus spend the majority of his time around?
Whew,
Or,
preach.
and people will say, uh, well, no. It's like, I said, like, who did he spend the majority of his time around? I said, who did he spend all his time around? And then they said, well, he spent the majority of his time with sinners. And I said, no, he spent all of his time with sinners, except for when he stole away. I was
Come
like,
on.
because who else was he with? He was only with people who were sinners. I was like, the disciples were sinners.
Exactly.
The Pharisees were sinners. The
Uh-huh.
people they were speaking to were sinners. So I was like, he was, and I was like, when we say perfect, we only mean sinless, not perfect like he didn't do anything wrong. That's the thing I always say. If you disobey your parents in the Jewish tradition, which he did, you did something wrong.
Right.
That means doing something wrong is not just what sin is about. You see, we got to talk about something that's spiritually wrong, something that spiritually separates. Um, look at that. I done got away from the question,
No, you
but
good. You
I'm good.
talking.
Okay. Okay. But no, it was asleep. It was asleep. When it became awake was when, while I was at Poplar, this is why I think, Pastor Brooks all the time,
Yeah.
like whenever I see him, I just saw him a few weeks ago and I was there for a brief stint and then had to come back. He
Shout out, his
gave
birthday's
me,
today.
oh shoot, I got to reach out to him. Okay. Shout out Pastor Charles Brooks Sr., Charles Weldon Brooks, excuse me, Sr.
Yeah.
um he kind of gave me the push. He was like, Thomas, go forth. Like, he said, he said, I know what you're thinking. Because I didn't want to listen, you mentioned Lecrae and D1, who I actually do listen to. But just last night, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was playing Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg's new album Mission. I was like, just listening to that music, like, man, that's some music for your tail. Wow, that man is in his pocket right now. And I went, huh. But I use that as like, okay, I love the music making part. You see what I'm saying? In particular, like, and I love it in my producers who I work with. That's what we do. We get in and we listen. I'm like, listen to that, then we'll listen to this. You see, like, okay, what's the this? Like, I'll say, okay, that new Kendrick GNX, yeah, they got everybody here. Now we're gonna listen to Bobby Humphrey. Bobby Humphrey, yes, black flute player, 1970s, peaceful
Wow.
music, blacks and blues. We're gonna listen to Bill Withers. You see, we're gonna listen to a little bit of Sam Cooke. We're gonna listen to peaceful, positive music too at the same time. And then I'll probably turn on some Kirk at the same time. Like, okay, I really want this song to have this. So let's listen to Kirk because he did this in this song. And they'll be like, well, I said, listen to it, listen to it. So I like to bring it in because we know that Lucifer was a musician. So Satan has used music, those things to like that'll capture people's attention.
Right.
And so I think that the perfection part is, when we act like, we're still not connected to that or to those people. See, and that's why I say, who did Jesus spend his time with? With sinners. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to
Right.
connect with them. You don't have to be them. That's the thing. Don't be them. That's the part where he was separated, but he was not distant. See, that's the difference. You can be separated but not distant. I'm not distant, and that's what Pastor Brooks saw and had to help me see that. He was like, he said, it's okay to be different. He said, but you're not distant from it. He said, you'll go where they are. He said, but I notice you won't do what they do. And I was like, no, I won't. He said, exactly. He said, that's what Jesus did. He went where they were, but he didn't do what they did. And I
Amen.
was like, yeah, I'm not going to be there smoking or drinking. Okay, he said, then that means you can be there. He said, you just probably can't stay there, unless and get crazy, because things can get crazy, things can get dangerous. He said, you don't want to be
Yeah,
tempted, but you
that's true.
understand that you can go there and then leave. So that's the whole part of thinking for yourself. So many people are not listening to the voice inside.
Come on.
You know it. That's why when
Come
people
on.
say, when Jesus says everyone will say, every knee shall bow, it's because I'm already talking to you.
Come
It's
on.
not because of a Christian minister on television. It's not because of Charles Stanley may rest to be.
Ooh,
It's because
hallelujah.
I've been
Yeah.
talking to you the whole time.
Come on.
The whole time. And you know that voice that told you to leave? That voice
Yeah.
that told you to stop doing that?
Yeah.
That voice that told you to leave him? The voice that told you to stop, leave her? That's what Jesus like. And see, and that's what I understood. Like, oh my goodness, that's why you're universal. It's like, oh, I've been telling y'all the whole time.
That part.
So that, and then that's when the voice came alive. Like when Pastor Bruce kind of saw it and was like, I'm good with it. So I thank him for that. But that didn't happen until I was 28. So I still sometimes have this battle in my mind of the age thing. But your prayer before we started, if anything, boy, I wish the world could have heard it. It was like everything that I've been praying about, thinking about, and I'll even admit at times stressing about. You said it, and that's why I just sat here like I was like, wow, she just literally said everything. So so I'll just say it's been alive now for going on 20 years. And with it being alive, I know getting along. What no people told me don't apologize. I've learned don't
Yeah,
no.
stop
But
doing that.
since
I
I
gotta work on it too.
yes, ma'am. But since I've been doing that, it's grown. And so now I recognize, matter of fact, and I apologize, my phone went off because my producer, my producer, it's like if I was Snoop, this is my Dr. Dre. His name
Hey,
is
come
DJ
on now.
Green. He just called me. Of course I'm gonna honor you in your time. But it's not just me anymore. And for years I always felt like that, like it's
Wow.
me. But it's because I am taking the risk, I'm taking the hit. I'm the one who's putting things out there. But the fact that I have a team of producers who actually send me music, a few MCs who actually rock with me now, who hit me up, and they don't hit me up to give them something. They hit me up to get on songs with them. You know, they're like, "Hey,
Oh,
can you get on this song? Is it okay if we do this with you?" Because they revere, you know, what I do. So I just appreciate that, and that's whether they're in the religious community or they're in the secular music making community. So I'm just proud of that. So please, people, open your eyes, open your mind to the right things, your ears to the right things, and let that gift, let God use you. And so that's what I can admit now. It took a long time.
that's a blessing. So, okay, Deacon, since we're on this, do you feel that God can anoint people to be a holy rap artist?
Yes, yes. I know God has anointed people to be
Mm,
holy rap artists.
amen.
But the problem comes when we, how, it's okay. Hip hop, for me, that's anointed. The rap industry is not.
Woo! Wait,
Okay.
stop. That's wait. Woo, that's bars. Wait, back up.
Okay. Yes,
Elaborate.
ma'am.
Woo. Okay.
Yes. Think about it. Okay, Jesus. Okay, first, we know Jesus was born of a woman. Okay, but of anointed, but anointed ways to how he came to this earth.
Uh-huh.
A rich one born in a manger,
Come on.
a carpenter,
Come on.
but then becomes through life learns. Remember in Hebrews it says he learned because he learned about, he was already divine, but he learned in life like, oh, this is who I am. And we all know that, particularly after that 40 days and 40 nights journey, the next 3 years was something that you understand? And we still talking about it all this time later. So we know that there was something anointed there. Hip hop, the Bronx was burning.
Wow.
That's a manger. No room in the inn. People burning buildings that black and brown people live in and poor white people live in. And they create something out of the ruins, just like Jesus being born in the manger. That's anointed. And then
Wow.
they make it and they use it to reduce violence because gangs come together. If you go back,
That is
learning
true.
about, like the Zulu Nation and just how, like these actual gangs came together, and then parties were made to give the kids something to do. Jesus said, "Suffer, don't keep the children from coming to me." Do you see? It's weird. I'm just drawing this parallel now as we're talking. But when you get into the rap industry, when you bring that into it, and in my opinion, Tupac is the prime example of that. When you bring the industry of music into it, that's what tainted it. Because that's when it becomes only about what is likable, what people just want to hear. It's not about the experience of breakdancing, the experience of knowledge, the experience of emceeing, the experience of DJing, the experience, actually being of b-boying, which means your mind and your heart have to be connected. You have to also be
Wow.
connected to your community. So then the other example of that to me is like a KRS-One, who still
Wow.
represents that. You see, he's from the Bronx, and Tupac's from New York too. So he represents that. And so I bring up Pac because we still revere Pac 28 years later, being gone because he died at the height of his career. He was basically at rock star status, and he got gunned down. Also because of something he actually did. But we don't talk enough about, in my opinion, a KRS-One who is still here, who has helped create like a temple of hip hop. That's another conversation. But I still like it because there's a book where they explain the history of how it came together. And he reveres hip hop in such a way that he treats it like it's holy. And to me, if more people did that, we would have more D1s. We would probably have more Lecrae's. We may have,
KBs.
yes, minus some of the obscenities, because I don't want to speak double-minded, but we would have more Kendricks. We would have more J. Cole's. We would have more of these lyrical monsters that are also brilliant. Like you just like, I don't want to mess with him. We would have more Rhapsodies. Let's not forget Rhapsody. That's North Carolina's own.
Yeah.
We would have more, and Cole is too, but I got to elevate Rhapsody because she's just one beautiful, but she really keeps it, like for the women, and she can still be her feminine self. She stays her feminine self. So I'm just saying we will have more of that. What the rap industry does to me is what Satan did. Satan said, if you call me Lord, look, I'll give you the world.
Come on.
That's not what hip hop said. Hip hop said we
Right.
want to save the world. That's what hip hop said. That's really what it came. We want to stop the violence. We want to stop. That's trying to save the world. Jesus came to do what?
Save the
Save the world. So to me, that's yes. The answer is yes. God can anoint holy rap artist. To me, that's what Melly Mel was when he made the message. LL came out like that hardcore, but still about positivity. That's why I say KRS-One. That's why I even say Rakim. He was rapping street, but putting a positive spin to it. Like, no, I'm not telling you to go out here and be like, I don't want you to be a sticker kid like I did. I'm telling you to do something different. So I think that that's what we need more of. And so I know that I'm sure some people may look at this as an older guy, but you know what? I am gonna say this because I got a new song that's coming out here later in 2025
Yes,
called
name
Preach.
drop. Let's get it. Let's get it.
And it's literally and it's called Preach.
If you want to
And
freestyle, please, by all means.
well, I know you said that could come up, but it's like it's like I want people to understand that I don't think that there's anything wrong with preaching. 'Cause, and I remember I just recently I did a workshop recently, for a client of mine, and I told him about something that happened and how I really just spoke to some brothers a certain way. It was involving the election and some stuff, and they would brag to me about the wrong thing. And I was like, gentlemen, we all come out of the bodies of women. We come from women. And I said, gentlemen, too, because they weren't talking like gentlemen. My uncle, who's a civil rights leader, passed away in '08. Reverend James Orange says, you speak the way you want people to behave.
Oh, I
That's
like
why.
that.
So that's why I nicknamed leader, but I got that from him. That's why I say people leader, because either you are a leader like you, or I want you to behave like one, please. So it's a gentleman. Well, the group I was talking to, one individual said, it sounds like you were preaching, and I asked a couple of questions. I said, well, first, what's wrong with preaching? That's the first thing. And it was like more like it's a thing of it's like me coming at them and I guess not talking about myself. It was a great explanation. It's more like me coming at them, but that's not what I was doing. I was inviting them to think about what they were saying. I
Right.
wasn't saying that you were. I didn't say I'm better than you. I literally just said, gentlemen, listen to what we're saying. Like,
Mm,
or and really you're saying, because I wasn't saying it. I was like,
mm.
listen to what y'all are saying. I was in the barbershop, so you can just imagine the kind of talk that's happening.
Oh, now I get it.
Right. Then I said, well, preaching really is just another form of talking. And I said, I don't have a problem with preaching. If you're telling me something, like that, if you're telling me something, like that's actually brilliant or that's for my spirit.
Right.
So what I want to do is I want to just write. I don't know about hard, but I just want to read something that's the song Preaching. Okay. I just like to read the first verse if that's okay. Can I do
Please.
that?
Please
Okay.
freestyle. Whatever you want to do, put the beat on. Let's get it.
So here we go. I say, it's your big brother here. This is what you want to hear. Take a shot, take a hit. It's a good time, yeah. Sip mimosas at the barbecue. This is a family reunion. It's a good time for us to get down, but tell me what we doing. I'm not preaching. Wait, yes, I am. Doing what I can. Raise girls to presidents, make boys to men. This the end of the road, and it's so hard to say goodbye when I got more to say. You can live a life to play and try to puff bud every day, but life can be too short when you don't watch yourself in the bay. You can be empty at 40 and at 20. How many friends have I lost? Plenty. Stack your pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, and dollars. I didn't want to be the one for you to follow. Never ever really wanted to be a role model. That's an excuse that makes you go full throttle. Talk to anyone trying to get head on the Bible. Be careful what you believe, read, say, and swallow. I'll wake you up if it's too deep and make you sleepy if it's hollow. Be true to yourself. That is the model. So you see, so it's like, you see how I
Right.
started with the sip mimosas do this. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, that's what you want to hear. And at the same time, I get it. I get it. I've had a good time. I've been at the barbecue, you know, but at the same time, to me, if you can sip a mimosa but have a wise conversation and stop, I don't think God got a problem with that. Okay, like stop. Okay, you having a good time. Even Jesus trying to water wine at a wedding. But if you're just gonna sit here and drink all day and put, wait a
Yeah.
minute, hold on. Now what you've done is you've paused your day, you're ruining your mind, you're
Yeah.
hurting your body.
Come
See,
on.
I can say all of this other stuff about health before I even get on the spiritual side. But the whole point, you're wasting your day.
Yeah.
God gave you, everybody got the same 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Come on.
What are you doing with your time?
Come on.
Okay. Now, once I get spiritual now and I can go religious, wait a minute, you could have been praying during that time. You could have been talking to God during that time because God talking to you the whole time.
That part.
You see, You see what I'm saying? But let me just keep it healthy. Why are you wasting your body like that? Why are you wasting your time like that? Why are you wasting your money? So I say it in the song in this way. You see what I'm saying? And trust me, when you hear it on the beat, it's crazy because I mean I ride that thing like a roller coaster that
Hey,
you
let it
just
go.
enjoy.
Let
So,
go.
but it's called preaching. You see, but then the hook is I'm just talking. I just keep saying it. Talking, I'm just talking. That's all I'm doing. I'm talking. I know you're gonna love it when you hear how it sounds with the music. So I'm like, there's nothing wrong with preaching. Now let me just say, just as one last piece. I'm not gonna bore you with the rest of the song. The second verse, I literally say, I love when my elder statesmen got something to say, but they mess it up when they say I'm not trying to preach. That's what they say. When did preaching become bad? I think I got it. Trying to teach about God, but got no logic.
Woo!
Now the rest of the verse, I start kind of going at ministers and preachers, to be honest, because I'm like, because then I go, there's a reason why people don't want to hear folks preach. There's a reason. And then that's the part where I call us out. I'm like, you know what? We were, it's like I think that we forgot from January to December. Some of us try to allow ourselves not to remember who you used to be. Don't be a pretender. That was a freestyle, by the way. But that's me saying, like that to people, like, let's not, like that's the part that we can't forget. So same way I'm saying to people, don't be against preaching. You need to open your mind. If you don't like preaching, then you need to check what you're listening to. Then I'm saying to us preachers, there's a reason why they don't want to listen to us. So let's make this, the message don't change, but the method can. Let's make sure that we bring people in. And that's why Pastor Brooks liked what I was doing, because he saw when I would come to church, I would bring young people with me. I would come in, bring some folks from the street with me. Then they had me doing the street ministry. Then I was teaching Sunday school. You see, so he saw what I didn't even see. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's a long answer, but I've been doing that.
It's alright because it's gonna bless somebody. You gotta remember, there are generations watching what you're saying, and they're gonna take it all in, and they're gonna go home because they don't have a dad. They don't got a brother like you. They don't got an uncle like you. They don't got a nephew. They don't got cousins. It's just them. So you gotta think about people are gonna listen to this, and they're gonna be like, "Man, yo, he cool," you know? And so that's my heart. Like I want people to recognize their gift is not small. Like you can reach the whole nation by just one song.
Mm, you're right to that. Yeah, you're right.
So it's like if these other artists can, have people twerking and all this other mess, why not
Mm,
let's shine light to the real brothers that have a good message to say and
mm,
illuminate the earth with the goodness? Because I feel like some stuff
mhm.
is tainted and some stuff is
Oh, it is.
for the views and the coins and the
Mhm.
popularity, but it don't mean nothing. And so some people are confused because they're like, "Oh, she's cute. Oh, and I'm like, "You're getting your mental capacity wiped out. You don't know it yet, but you are."
Don't
And
know it.
so my heart is
Don't
for
know it.
the rap community because my husband's a holy rap artist. That's why I wanted to hear what your thoughts
Okay.
were. Yeah. Y'all are gonna
Okay.
have a great time together. So I'm
Okay. Now,
excited
all
for
right.
I've seen some of his stuff, but like I'm excited for like
Yes,
what
ma'am.
you are gonna bring to the community. And so I feel like it's gonna be, ooh, I definitely need to talk to you because we're believing to
Okay.
have like a cipher. And so I feel like it's gonna be really dope because I feel like people they don't have fun no more. I feel like it's so
They
much
don't.
work, is
They
taking
don't.
care of our parents, like where's the fun? Like just because
We
we're
got to
older
make it.
doesn't mean that we can't have fun. Amen. So I feel like
Yeah.
where's the ciphers? Where's the reunions? Where's the concerts for just people? Just local concerts, benefit performances. Like Honey, back in that movie Honey, like where's the benefit performances where we just dancing, rapping, singing, dancing. But it could be like holy dancing,
Yes.
not to be like twerking, but like it could be
Yeah.
like dancing, you know what I'm saying? Like
Just
really
movement.
like, pop, like, the robot. You feel like have
Yeah.
fun. But I
That's
feel
but
like that
see.
should happen because I feel like people don't know how to be themselves. They have
There you go.
desensitized what Christianity represents and they think, okay, I'm a robot. I'm not gonna do nothing. I'm just gonna
There
just
you go.
be here myself and I'm not gonna do anything. And it's like,
That's
no, that's
yeah.
not what God told you to do. You gotta be
Right.
you. That's why I'm me. Like,
Yep.
I love to have fun. I love people to love other people. I love to connect with people so that I can say,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, boom. I can put you
Mhm.
with you. You guys can connect. Ooh, you can do music with him. Ooh, you should look at his music video. Ooh, like I'm like that. My
You're a
mindset works
connector.
of how can I connect people so that they
Yes.
can make a whole dynasty. Like I
See?
look at the future because there's people that
It's
don't
beautiful.
know, they don't know how to be themselves because they haven't seen their
No.
twin yet. And we all have a twin. And so I feel like
Mm,
if you take the time
mm,
to rest and reach
mhm,
out to people that you think you wouldn't need, you realize there's
mhm.
some gifts that are dormant in them that they don't feel like they want
Ooh.
to release because they haven't had anybody to tell them that they're great. Some people just need to hear, you're amazing. You have a purpose. You know,
Mm.
you're meant to be here. You don't have to take the pills. You don't have to drink and drive. You don't have to end your life. You actually have purpose, but because you haven't been told that, you feel like you can't talk to nobody. You feel you have no friends, nobody understands you, you're misunderstood. And it's not that. It's just because you're not being open to allow people in. And if you close
Mm.
yourself off from people, then you don't get the chance to re-examine how amazing you truly are to the world. So
You
that's why the podcast is here. The podcast is here to open up the window so that people can come together and they're able to realign, re-examine, redefine
mm,
who God has called them
mm.
to be, despite them
Uh-huh.
going to jail or maybe they
See,
got a baby on the way. It don't matter. It's fine. Just keep going forward. We all have made mistakes, but you still got purpose in you. Like there's still
see.
passion in you. There's still God can propel you through that pain. The pain is not
Yeah.
meant to keep you bound. The pain is there to ignite you into the fire God has for you. There's prosperity on the other
Mm,
side of your pain. Your pain is to ignite you to the purpose that God has in you that you were in the time of your mother's womb. But
mm.
now you feel like you can't move because life happened, the election happened, or you lost your job. So what?
Ah,
Make your job online and get this money and keep going. Just
you
start.
said it's too many gems. It's too many. It's too many. It's a whole nother book. It's a whole nother righteous text. You said so many stuff. When you said rest, though, you said
Yeah.
people don't know how to be themselves, and then you said rest.
Yes, rest is not physical. Rest is spiritual. Rest is mindset. Rest is
You
inward. You're inwardly releasing your entire being to God. Rest is having the internal sound mind in your internal so that you're able to allow him in. If you are busybody and working and doing all the things, you're saying yes to everybody and oh yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. You're not resting. You're being overworked, and nobody told you that. You're
overworked.
putting pressure on yourself that you don't have to. So that's what I say,
Yeah.
rest, meaning you take the
The,
time to hear what God is saying and have clarity of what you're supposed to do. Not move before God, but move with him.
that wisdom is what you can see in the creation story. See, I think that sometimes people mistake, like they misuse the creation story. They'll say, okay, God created, and then they'll say, okay, first 6 days we know he did, and then on the seventh day he rested. And I look at that and I'm like, God is everything. God is the universe. The universe don't need rest. And, well, that's the universe don't need rest. The universe never stops. God is bigger than us. God's ways are bigger than our ways. That was instruction for you. That's giving you an example of what to do. That's why Jesus said, love as I have loved. Do what God is telling you to do. God is showing you literally what to do. The first day he did this. The second day he did that.
Yeah.
The third day he did this. The fourth
Yes.
day he did this. The fifth day he did this. The sixth day he did this. And on the seventh day he rested because as human beings, we cannot, none of us can go 24/7.
Yeah.
And when you can stop and do exactly what you said, stop and reflect, you can then look back at what you have done.
Hmm.
Because what people also forget is, as if you look at the creation story, everything that you see in the creation, there had to be more creation to get what else we had
Come
in the Bible.
on. Come
You see what I'm
on.
saying? So you got to do this, pause, do more, pause, do more, pause. Because if you just go the whole way, try to be God,
Woo!
you're gonna
Preach.
crash and burn. See what I'm saying? We can't be God. We can only be the under God that God has made us. Psalm 82, 6, John 10:34. We have limitations. We are bound by them and we have to move. But we are not bound by we're not bound by our limitations in the sense of spiritually, we're bound by them physically. But spiritually, no, you can get past, like you said, the pain. You can get past the hurt. You can get past, when you think something's not going to work. You can see, sometimes I talk freestyles all the time, but you can get past it. And I just loved everything that you were saying because Oh, look, you say you had mentioned that's wild because in silence and calm is when you will find out who you are. That's why I say, like, when knowing that I had a rage or anger inside of me, it wasn't an anger of hate, it was an anger for people to wake up. And that's why I mentioned, I don't want to get too much into it, but that's why I mentioned Tupac, because I feel like that's what he had.
No, for
I feel
real.
like, and I feel like that's what people still, it's interesting. That's what people still want. Like they still
Right,
look for that. They still want that in our artists. They still want to see that fire. You know what
right.
I'm saying? Because that fire speaks to us. Because the truth is, we got it inside of us too. And we have to allow it to wake up. And the only way you can do it is if you rest. And the only thing that I'll say about him is that, but when you go, 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 go like that, and you want the approval of man,
Whoo! There it
you
is.
will get tricked like that.
There it
You
is.
see what I'm saying? Like that's what will happen. You'll get tricked, and that's what happened to him. So I always tell people, don't revere man, just like what you mentioned when I mentioned the ministers in the beginning. I'm like, don't revere man,
Yeah,
that way because we are flawed.
yeah.
But look at us. I say, look at us as caution. I say, look at every man and woman as a cautionary tale, because you will learn what not to do. Look at everyone. You will look at their life and you will see, I shouldn't do that. Probably shouldn't try that. But also look at their lives, especially those who are sharing it with you, as what can work, especially if they've allowed God to lead them and be in their forefront, and you see the fruits of their labor. So yeah, but yeah, I love hip hop. I love music. I wanted to just share with you that there is a cipher that happens every Monday at
Oh,
NC State. It's late though, but so people have families. Sometimes it's a challenge. But Cipher University is an organization that was founded at NC State, and they do a cipher every Monday, and they start at 9:19 or 10:19. To try to honor 919. And it's positive. It's usually mostly men, but a few um, women come out and they be tearing it down. They have a DJ out there, they tear it down, and then they do events throughout the year. So just share with other people like that there are some spaces and more coming, but Cypher University is one.
do you have to
Now, and this is
be
just in North Carolina.
a student to be a part of the
No,
cipher?
no, 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 not at all. Mm-mm.
Ooh, that
Not
is
at all.
so
It's
dope.
open. When they do events around the city, it's open to everybody. People come out. I mean, they do things like, I'm talking like on the state level at times, and go to functions, and then I have Cypher University come up. I know because I'm a part of it now, and we freestyle in front of people, keep it clean. Because it's always for a family environment. And it's fun. I love what these men and women do, because because what they do is about education. It was founded at
Okay.
NC State, so it's all about education. So they believe, just like I do, that not only can hip hop be righteous, hip hop can also be intelligent. It can be scholarly. Excuse me, hip hop is intelligent. It is scholarly. Hip hop is righteous. It's just that people have to treat it that way.
Right.
To me, I look at hip hop in a little bit ways like I do religion, because people have tainted that. Like that's what that is. Like, religion, speaking about God, that's pure. But it's what we do to it that taints it. People taking it and using it, for power, and using it, for money. That's what taints it, and it's like that's not what it's about. But God can give you that, of course, if you do it the right way, because you know, God didn't let David be small. David was the best king that Israel ever had,
That's
but
right.
David was a man after God's own heart. So when you're after God's own heart, you're not going to be small. It,
Come
it, it, it
on.
don't work that way.
Come
God is
on.
like, because God don't hide you. God's like, I'm sorry, I can't hide you. If you're going to give me this love, I have to give you this. You understand? But you got to be ready for it. You got to be ready for it, because when it comes, it's like you said, it could be in the blink of an eye.
I
You
do have
know.
to encourage some people because it may be somebody that may have experienced what I did. So there are seasons, and it may not be for everybody, but for some
Mhm.
people, it's okay when God does hide you. Because that happened to me. Like there's
Yes.
seasons when God will have you, well, for the women, in a cocoon
Well,
phase like
that's
a
what the
butterfly.
wilderness
And
experience is.
so, well, I guess for the men, I don't know who,
Mhm.
maybe like a bat, I
No,
don't
no,
know,
no,
but
no, no,
like a
no.
bear
But
hibernating,
that's
like
what
a
the wilderness.
hibernation.
Yeah, but
But
that's what
like
the wilderness experience was.
yes. And so I
Yeah,
feel like
Jesus
that
was in it.
helps you because we're always growing, and so I feel like
Hmm.
the Lord has to pluck out all of the trauma inflicted
Hmm.
desires, decisions that you wish you could have, should have, would have, could have, He has to pluck out
Mhm.
all of the disappointment, all of the fear. He has to pluck out all of the things that you may you wanted to say to your parents, but you couldn't say it to them because of the, staying in a child's place, like things that used to be stuffed under the rug. So you have to be freed from all of that
Talk that.
stuff. So
Talk
that way
that.
you're able to be who you're called to be and speak. Because I've had conversations with my parents now where I'm like,
Mhm.
listen, when you did this back when I was little, I didn't appreciate that. Like that hurt my feelings. But now you can
Same.
talk about it because you're older. But because you
Same.
had that space and that window of opportunity to express how you feel. So it's off of you and you're not holding resentment or you're not going and walking around here thinking like you're not loved when you are loved. Or
You are
you're walking
loved.
around here thinking that nobody gets you, nobody wants you, when that's opposite. The enemy wants you to feel that way. But you are wanted, you are appreciated, you
Mhm.
are desired. And so some people, especially
You better
men,
talk.
they get to this some people call it the 40-year crisis or whatever, but some people like they get to this place of
Yes.
not knowing who they are. And then the enemy
Yeah.
is stupid. He tries to play their minds too. So then they really going through
Mhm.
it. And then they may
Uh-huh.
have seen a girl that they wanted to be with, but they were scared at the time. And then she's doing well. And they're like, dang, I missed out on that baddie. And then it's just all these things. And then and then you're trying to like discover like what your purpose is, and it looks like you don't know what you're doing, and it's like, how do I even start? So I want to speak to you, encourage you
You speaking.
that you
You
can still
talking.
do what God has for you to do. You still can do what God has called you to. You're just in a rut, what it feels like a rut, but you're
Mhm.
actually at the peak of the most blessed years of your life. Like you're
Talk that.
literally on the cusp of the propelling blessing of your life. But because it
Talk that.
feels tumultuous, it feels straining, it feels draining, it feels like this is a lot. It feels like, God, what am I even doing? I have these degrees, I have
Mm.
masters. Why am I over here trying to figure out this? That's because He wants you to take yourself off of your life and let the Lord have the pen. You're not the artist.
Mhm.
God is the one
Mm.
who's going to propel you and project you forward into the earth, but
Yes.
you can't do it. So I want to speak to people that feel like, I hear what he's saying,
Talk that.
but
Talk
I'm
that.
stuck. You're not. You
No,
are
you're
right where
not.
God wants you to be. He wants you to
Mhm.
depend on Him fully. You cannot do this life without Him. And listen to your wife. If you are with somebody, if you have a girlfriend or whatever, listen to the women because we actually have wisdom and we're trying to help you. So don't
Yeah.
push us away. We're trying to help you to become the man that you're called to be, but you want to do it your way. But it's like, nah, bro. You have to
Mhm.
get rid of that ego, get rid of that pride, get rid of the way you think things should be. It's not going to be like
Mhm.
that. God's going to do something that's so miraculously different that you're going to wake up and say, oh, that's why you want me to do it like that. And then you're going to wake up with
Mhm.
$10,000 in your account because you listen
Mhm.
to God. It's not going to happen the way you want it to. It's going to be unorthodox. It's going to be
Mhm.
crazy. It's going to be like, wait, what? That's how
Mhm.
faith works. Faith
Mhm.
works with the fullness, assurance in the heart. It's for your mind, your will, your spirit to connect together so that the heart can flow out the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. So you have to speak out what God is saying over your life, not what the enemy says or what media depicts or what your mind even tells you. You got to tell your mind to shut up too. Go in the spirit of shut up. Tell mind to shut up because the mind doesn't know what it wants. The mind can operate out in the
That's
flesh
it.
if you're receiving opposite of what God is telling you, then yeah, your mind's gonna be crazy. If you're receiving what God has not told you, then yeah, your heart can feel deferred because you're not patiently persevering and desiring what God has for you. You have to have expectation. So you have to remind yourself of the hope of glory because
Mm.
just like Jesus
Mm.
coming into the earth, there was no room in the inn. But because Joseph was such a dynamic mindset, brilliant mind, integrity, always wanted to make sure that Mary had whatever she needed, he was able to be in the back burner, realize that this woman he loves is not holding his baby, but he's willing to take the back burner and let the Lord come through his wife. When you do that,
Mm.
when you put yourself back and you let the Lord in, He's going to bless you immensely. So when you're able to do that and take yourself out of the equation and let the Holy Trinity move you, you're going to put yourself in position to find the barn and find the place that God's going to birth that
That's
purpose out of
good.
you. But you have to be willing to back up, say, all right, All right, dust your shoulders off.
Something
All
like
right,
that.
you just go ahead and just, all right,
That's
Lord, you
good.
do it. You do it. I can't do this. You do
That's
it.
good.
When you do that, then God's gonna lead you to the barn. And you're gonna birth that baby.
I received that. I receive it. That's all I can say. I receive it. I'm snapping.
Whoever that is for. Look.
I'm snapping. I'm snapping. I'm snapping.
You see?
Okay.
You see how the
You're
Lord
right.
works? Like, who would
Yeah.
have thought a little podcast, God dropping, look, drop.
Yo. Yes. No, this no,
God
no,
did it.
this was fun.
God did
This
it.
was good.
Podcast. God did it.
This
Podcast. I need a track. Like, let's get it. I need to get in the studio. But
I'll send it to you. I'm sending it to you,
since
man.
we're on this
Wow.
topic, how do you feel like and I won't take too much of your more of your time, but how do you feel like men can overcome their self-inflicted powerless um
Wow.
their self-inflicted powerless mindsets? Like how do you feel like God can help men overcome that?
Overcome. Well, you've answered it. How can men overcome the self-inflicted? One, you answered that in one of the all the brilliant things that you said, like because God puts people in our lives, and women, in particular. Uh, I think there's a book called How to Be a Superior Man. I would encourage
Ooh, how
men
to be.
to check it out, How to Be a Superior Man. And it is not for those people who are challenged by the superior word. It's not about domination. It is about you being your best and strongest self. And in particular for a partner or a loved one or a wife, of course, girlfriend, but for a long-term partner in particular, because there in the book, the way it explains is like your femininity is a capsule for masculinity, you see.
Right.
And masculinity is a containment for femininity. So it talks about how, because women are connected to the universe, that's why you all have so much going on in your bodies all of the time. But life comes through you. They're connected to the universe. When as a man understands that, you know that your job is not to control that. Your job is to contain it, like provide, we would say covering, whatever, but it's like, but it's just in a different way. It's like safety, sanctity, provide
Yes.
that, because that expression is going to then give you ideas of things that you can do to help both, and ideas for this person to take care of themselves too, and for you to take care of each other, you see. So
Amen.
that's where the balance part comes in. And so I just encourage people to check that book out. It's a short read. I think that it's a, like it's a it's a good one. Then, so there's that. I do believe that men giving themselves, like, it's hard for us not to be hard on ourselves,
Oh.
because one, self-inflicted is one thing, and then the actual world inflicted is another thing, and both have happened. And
Mhm.
so a lot of men in particular, we struggle with that healing, aspect, because we don't think that we deserve it, or we think that it's weak to have it. We think that you a sucker if you want something like that, and there's a reason why men, like why we kind of like, like kind of, not macho, but just like tough, something that's inside of us, that does need to be expressed. And I think that in some ways, I think masculinity is also under attack now in some ways. Some of and I would say in some ways rightfully so, because there are toxic things that people have done, but then I say
Right.
wrongfully so, because I'm a man and I'm not ashamed to be that, and I'm not ashamed to, and I'll even say, sometimes I've had conversations where, someone say, would you consider yourself all man? I'm like, well, I don't know what all apart means, but I would just say yes, in the sense that, that I know what I like, I know who I like, I know what I want, I can be direct in what I say, but I can listen, I can be led, but I can lead, I can be influenced, I can influence, but I choose who and how I'm influenced, you see. So it's like,
Amen.
I don't listen to everything doesn't sound appealing, everything, I know everything that is good is not good,
Right.
everything that sounds right is actually not correct, and it's not true.
Mhm.
So the other thing I think about being a man is like knowing how to make decisions for yourself, and knowing how to help with collective decision making. So
Right.
that means you got to heal. That means you need time for yourself. Okay, I think men need to, if we look at, like, in these smart devices, we need to put these devices down, or if you can, listen to something that's encouraging you, to be more positive. So I think that another thing men need to do, we need to eat better. We need to take care of our bodies because we
Yes.
have a lot of challenges coming at us. And I'm just gonna say for like men of color, in particular, men who are poor, we need to we look. There's so much information out here about how to be financially literate. There's a lot of information out here about how to really take care of yourself. I want to encourage people to make the choice to access that kind of stuff because that kind of material will tell you how to take better care of yourself, will tell you how to value yourself. So the other
Mm,
thing I think men need to do is they need to learn how to value themselves. Not I'm a man and what I say goes, but it's like, but if you are a man of God, or if you're a man of reason, if you're a man of wisdom, you understand that what you say can contribute to progress. So it's not what I say goes, is I hope what I say helps. And if you're a man who understands that what you say helps, is that hopefully you have the evidence yourself, so I can tell you, then I can show you. So now we deal with congruency. So you see, you say what you do, as you say, you say, I do what I say. It's one of the things I really try to do, as best as I can. If I say I'm gonna come on your platform, I'm coming on. If I'm gonna, like represent it, I'm not gonna misrepresent it. So I think that that's what that's some of what men need. So some of what I said was about letting people support and help you. Okay.
yeah.
Some of what I said was about making a choice to help yourself.
Yeah.
Some of what I said was about sitting down calmly and letting things come to you and taking care of yourself. So I think it's really more, it's an aggregate of all of that that will help men get over the self-inflicted, limitations, pain, hurt, in addition to external inflicted too.
That's so good. Man, I need you to come back on the show again. I feel
I
like we
would be
could do
honored.
a whole like mental health workshop in the
I'd
sense
be
of
honored
like
to.
rap because I feel like some people they really don't know how to let go of the past. Like really let go. Like really like especially if their father passed away. Like sometimes it's hard for people to really like heal from the hurt that they may have felt before the parent passed. And so some people
Yes.
still have that resentment that they didn't get a chance to maybe say what they wanted to say maybe, or they just don't know
Hmm.
how to cope with seeing other people have their family but they feel like they're missing out or they have a void that they don't want the Lord to fill. So I feel like that would help men kind of understand that they matter because some men feel like they
Yeah.
don't matter, and I feel like men have this really great value to society, but they feel like they can't measure up because this man doing XYZ, this one's doing XYZ, and they're comparing themselves to other people versus what God has gifted them to do. So I feel like that would help a lot of men like recognize, nah, you're good, like you're special, like you're lit, like God created
Hmm.
you for a reason, but
Hmm.
because they didn't grow up with that big brother or didn't grow up, well, they had people but they didn't have a brother, like they didn't have it, like
Yeah.
they were there but they didn't
Hmm.
have
Yeah, they weren't
that support, that
present.
encouragement.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that
in my life,
yeah,
but not a part of my life. Yeah,
yeah.
it's well. Let me just say this because I know, I definitely want to respect the time. But let me just, if this could be next to a closeout, I can just let you know because you mentioned something, mental health and rap, and mental health is definitely a real thing. I think that I want to add words. I love what you said, so I want to just add to it. Like when people say, let go. I like to say, let go is the same way of talking about how to use it. You see, like
Oh,
how to actually use it,
okay.
So I think that like that pain, it's like I said, I acknowledge the pain, like that I have. I acknowledge the rage, but then I use it. The thing is that I don't use it to hurt people, I use it to help. So,
Right.
it's like I said, I have this anger about people not thinking for themselves. So I don't call people stupid and dumb and ignorant. I say, let me help you with how to process this or to do this, but I can only help you because I've been able to help myself and I've been able to receive help. So not only can I help, I can show, I can guide. People who've experienced pain, whether they had an abusive parent, something. Okay, then the aim is to get you to use that so that you don't abuse somebody else.
Right.
The aim is to get you to the point where you can use that to help people heal. let's say you have a parent who's passed or that they are an ancestor now, that they've gone. And I, I just I watch how I say, I mean, I've embraced this, but I know some people, depending on their religion, understanding, or but just because someone is not here in physical form doesn't mean that you're still not connected to them. And I think that what happens is when someone leaves, when we say a spiritual realm, we say that for a purpose. Like when they go, they're not going and being lazy. God has prepared a place for them. They're going and they're going to work. It's not over.
Exactly.
Because if God is coming back, then that means that they're doing something. So that must mean that they're doing something for me on the other side. So
Exactly.
that means converse, talk. God thank and but then how do you do that? What do you mean talk? First, be thankful for the fact that if they weren't here, you wouldn't be here. So even if it was a painful thing, you have to find a way of being thankful that this individual made a contribution that gave you life that brought you here.
Come
So
on.
right there, now we have something positive to lean to and to lean on. Okay, now that allows me to hopefully find some other positiveness in that tunnel that I'm trying
Come
to, that
on.
rabbit hole that I'm trying to get down to find peace in the situation. You see, so I just wanted to just to share that because I know that may be hard for people to hear who've had pain, but I'm just trying to give them a little nugget so that they can find some peace and so that they can find healing because that's the whole thing. People need healing, and then we live in a society that tells us not to feel.
Come
We live in a
on.
society that tells us not to respect our women, and then we live in a society that says that tells us that we're too much. You see, it's like it's
Come
as you
on.
said, it is confusing. So you have to turn things off and you have to get quiet and sit, calmly, and you have to let God speak to you, meaning that you have to let God reveal to you what God has for you and let God show you. Like, you may like that thing that he's saying, but then you may have a problem with some of what he's doing. Okay, that's
Right.
God telling you something. God showing you, like, okay,
Right.
yeah, like, so pay attention to that. Okay, like I may like, like, say this rap artist can do some unifying things and bring people together, but I don't like that he curses. Okay, so then that means you don't do it. Okay, I like how this rap artist, it can have longevity, but I just don't like maybe how they smoke weed all the time. Okay, you don't do it. You see what I'm saying? But what are the things that can give you the longevity part? You see, like, okay, what are the things that can help you bring people together? So that's just, like what I just want to close out, or just say that, having good mental health will allow you to make good decisions for yourself that also will benefit other people.
Hallelujah. Well, to close out, could you read, or we can read together, Luke 10:19, and then we can tell everybody how they can find you, because I feel like this is the perfect way to close out and like wrap up basically everything we just said. This scripture wraps it up. It
Okay,
wraps it
yes.
up. So
Oh,
it's Luke
man.
10:19. And so I feel like some people need to be reminded about this,
Mm.
especially going into the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
um, so I feel like this would be a great way for people to be reminded that
Hmm.
God is with us.
Okay. Yes.
So it's
Gladly.
Luke 10:19 verses 19 through, what did God say? Oh yeah,
You're just to 19?
19
Oh,
through 21. I think that's what I put in the email.
okay.
And I can
Got it.
read or you can read. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, please. No, I'd be honored to read, please.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Luke 19. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. 20. Notwithstanding in this, rejoice not that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in heaven. 21. In that hour, Jesus rejoiced in spirit and said, I thank thee, O Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and prudent and hast revealed them unto babes. Even so, Father, for so it seemed good in thy sight.
That sums
Word of
up
God,
our
people of
entire
God.
podcast. Hallelujah. So I encourage you, I leave that with you today. If you want understanding about that, just DM me or email me or Deacon Easley. But just to sum it up, God is with us, He's for us. Because we have chosen to receive Jesus Christ, the greatest victory in this life, everyone, is that our names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life. And if you
Mm,
don't know who Jesus is for yourself, then you're more than welcome to do that with us here. If you would like to be guided into receiving Christ, just DM, but it's really simple. You just say publicly, Lord, I am a sinner. Lord, I want you to guide my life. Help me. It's that simple. And I'll be happy to send you a Bible. I can send you some scripture verses and we can go through them together. If you want, you guys know I have prayer calls, so just hit me up. But I am so excited for what God's gonna do in the life of this amazing man of God. Please, Deacon Easley, tell people how they can follow you, how they can connect with you, how can they hear your wonderful music, how can they book you for events and get you the coin, get you the paper. How can they do that?
Appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Well, you can follow me on, so I am on Instagram as Dr. Thomas Rashad Easley. So if you want to communicate with me, that's where I talk, do like all of my organizational consulting work, my leadership development support work, a lot of my scholarly work. That's there. You want to find out about my books, about my publications. Okay, there. Instagram. Also, I have Easley Branch Music, so that's where you can find out about the music. You find out about the different programs that we're doing. How we work with youth, how we work with just people. Period, and music making, and then you can also access our website. That is theeasleybranch.com. Easley, EASLEY, theeasleybranch.com, and that's where you can find all of our music, and you can come and you can actually support us. Okay, you can also find us on we're on Facebook. Okay, and then if you want to find more out about like the consulting side of things, then you can go to mindheartfordiversity.com. It's going to be changing soon though to mindheartstrategies.com, but you'll still be able to find me. And then if you want to reach out to me, you can email me at info@easleybranch.com. And from there, you can get access to a number of things. But we have web presence, we have social media, and then we have a podcast too. We have the Heartwood podcast. I've run that through Yale University, so I'm fortunate for that, and that's at the School of the Environment. And still, we still have that going. We're starting season 8 soon, and so that's another place where you can listen to our music, because we do put our music there. We put our content there too, like with how we create our enrichments, because I am a consultant, and the things that I do musically, I tell people I actually facilitate them as well internationally in the different frameworks and models that I've been able to create. So, you can come out and listen to me speak if I'm in an area near you, or you can reach out to me online. And if there's services that I have that you can use, please. We want to be of service.
Wow. Like, Deacon Easley, you are that dude. Like, you are doing it. You said your podcast is at Yale University?
Hmm.
Brother, I have what? I got presidential on the podcast.
Uh,
Lord, you looking at me. I got presidential. I got hey, let go. So y'all know how we do on this. I'm telling you, this is why you should know people. Talk to people. You can make connections with people that will bless your whole entire ministry. Like that. But yeah, you guys know
yeah.
how we do it on the podcast. We still have our books for sale because we're preparing for our annual community baby shower that we have every year. So make sure you guys, if you want to sow into the ministry, make sure you write off your taxes for next year. Just write off for Black and Black for Ministries. But we have Venmo, Butterfly, the number 8JC. If you want to get your book, you can get it before Christmas. I'm shipping all the orders out soon. And we have the Kingdom Men building a legacy prayer journal for the men to be organized, because y'all have the best ideas and I want you guys to implement them before 2025. We're going to start early. Remember, we talked about this. We're not doing resolutions. We're going to plan. We're going to have our purpose laid out and we're going to start. Who's waiting for 2025? We're not promised tomorrow.
Yeah,
Let's start today.
that's right.
And if you want your social media organizer, we have those two available for you as well. So just let me know, guys, what you guys want. But I'm so excited. I am honored to be able to talk with this man of God for the hour. We just pray blessings over him in the name of Jesus for his time. And I'm so proud of you. And I want to let you know from the bottom of my heart, I thank God for you. I'm so glad that you're alive. I'm so glad that you exist. I'm glad that you are positioning yourself to be a vessel for God in all capacities. However, He wants you to do it. I'm so grateful and thankful that you have consistently, over the decades that I've known you, you consistently say yes to God. And I'm so honored to know you as a friend, to know you as a confidant, to know you as a colleague, as a brother, as an uncle, all the things. I'm so grateful because I feel like people need to know that there's people out here like you that truly care about other people. And I think some people don't think that people love them. And so my heart
Yes.
is that I want people to realize and recognize, listen, we actually love you. Like there's people out here that
We out here, y'all.
genuinely want the best for you. So
We out here.
y'all know how we do it on the God of the podcast. We end out with a simple little songy, but if you guys would like to connect with me, or if you know someone that would like to be a part of the podcast, it's all about Jesus and Holy Spirit over here. And so it's just raw authenticity, it's real discipleship, and it's rare results only done by God. Y'all heard it here. We'll see
Mm.
you guys soon. Yahweh. Peace. Love you guys. Thank you, Deacon.